right, hello and welcome to first round coverage of the Schools Out for Summer Middle School League presented by Romancing the Stones. I'm Ty Thomason here with Mike.
Hey guys, yeah, this is Mike O'Malley. Glad to be here. I hope everybody enjoys the stream. Some exciting, hopefully exciting matches ahead of us.
Yeah, this is the fifth league they've done, and we got a great match to start it off with. We got Connor and Lorian, who, if you tuned in just 2 weeks ago, these were the finalists of the last league, with Lorian defeating Connor in that league. That was his back-to-back titles. So he's top 8 in 3 of these leagues, and he's had 2 wins. And it looks like they're ready to start off. We got a really interesting matchup here. Looks like it's 2 different versions of Rector Oath.
Nice. I wish that I had taken the time to review the screenshots, but I was too busy putting my desk together. But all good. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do it live. I'll talk
about the differences real quick. So Lorian is running a Rector Oath deck with 4 copies of Squirrel's Nest and Earthcraft as his main win condition. So otherwise, it's 4 Rector, 4 Oath of Druids, 4 Sterling Grove, 4 Cabal Therapy, 4 Enlightened Tutor, and a couple of silver bullet targets for his Enlightened Tutors like Goblin Bombardment, Solitary Confinement, and Land Tax, which looks like he has Land Tax turn 1. Connor, on the other hand, is playing a different version with Form of the Dragon as its main kill card. So he has 2 Form of the Dragon and only 1 Enlightened Tutor. But he does have a crop rotation package with 3 crop rotations for Glacial Chasm, Cabal Pit, Phyrexian Tower, Nantuko Monastery, and I forget the name of the white one, Nomad something from the Nomad, the Judgment Threshold land.
Nomads. I got the image here.
Yeah.
Nomad Stadium.
Nomad Stadium. I don't even know what that does. Does it gain life?
White. If you have threshold, pay white, tap, sack. You gain 4 life. Yeah.
4 life. Okay. But he also has a card to help his Oath of Druids. He has 3 copies of Funeral Pyre. It's a white instant that lets you exile a card from a player's graveyard, and that player gets a 1/1 spirit. So you can use that on your opponent's graveyard, give them a spirit to trigger
your Oath. That is so techy.
Yeah.
Man, these decks are so sick.
Yeah. So what I think when I looked at them, it looked like I think I would rather have the deck with 4 copies of Earthcraft and 4 copies of Squirrel's Nest. That seems a little bit better to me than playing a bunch of crop rotations that don't really do a whole lot.
Yeah. But maybe it's an experiment. I do think crop rotation is a sweet card. But for just the way it works is really cool.
Yeah, I will say Connor played pretty much the same list in his last finals appearance, except he was playing Gerard's Verdict instead of these crop rotations.
Right. So. I think I actually caught that match, or at least part of it. So I remember that. And there's so much unexplored territory in this format. Like I don't know. I mean, we'll probably get there eventually because it is like a non-rotating format with no new stuff. But yeah, people are definitely brewing hard, which I always admire because I'm not a very good brewer.
I went pretty deep brewing. Well, not deep brewing, but I spent a lot of time making my deck for this league, and it's not like too out there, but I definitely found some interesting takes, and I'm excited to try it out.
Nice.
Have you played your match for the week yet?
So me and Brian Hockey have to play game 3 after this. We played 1 and 2 right before this.
Okay.
So yeah, still pending. Having a pretty good match, but yeah.
All right. Looks like this game so far we've had 2 duresses from Connor taking looks like Squirrel's Nest and a Cabal Therapy, and then he looks like he's Enlightened Tutor for Oath of Druids, and looks like he's probably going to cast that here, probably signalizing that he's got the Funeral Pyre in his hand.
Yeah.
So, Lorian's kind of in trouble here. Don't really know what he's going to do. I don't think he has really too many outs to Form of the Dragon. He definitely can't Squirrel's Nest combo through that unless you find your 1 Goblin Bombardment.
Right. He doesn't have any main deck. What is that?
He has 1 Seal of Cleansing.
Pernicious Deed.
Yeah, no deed, 1 Seal of Cleansing, and that looks like his only answer to a Form of the Dragon.
Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong list. Let's see.
Yeah. Connor has the deed.
Yeah.
Looks like we've triggered land tax. Land tax is nice. He's got like 10 basic lands in his deck, which that's pretty rare for a lot of these combo decks to be able to play that many basic lands. So
Right.
I think he's probably trying to draw an Oath of his own. Actually, I don't know if that does enough.
Does he
I
needs
guess
like
he just needs to find a well, he doesn't have Form of the Dragon, so
yeah.
he's just not in a good spot because whatever he has to do to get rid of the Form of the Dragon is going to take so many resources,
Mm-hmm.
and Connor can probably just by that time find a second Rector or something because he'll have access to his whole or almost his whole library in his graveyard with
Right.
Prosen Reclamation. Yeah, and if Connor can find the Sterling Grove before he finds the before Lorian can find his Steeler Cleansing, he can lock the game up pretty quickly there, giving his Form of the Dragon Shroud. Well, it looks like he didn't have the
Right.
Funeral Pyre. Looks
Yeah,
like he's
maybe that's the bluff sort of.
mhm.
Like if he draws that, it's probably game on. Well, he's doing something. Dress.
Third Duress.
Great card.
Duress is definitely one of the better cards in the format, especially when you have Cabal Therapy and when you're playing any type of deck, you just have to be ready to just not really do anything for the first few turns except get your hand discarded and just play off the
Yeah.
top. So looks like he took the Solitary Confinement. If I can see that right.
Yeah, that's what I think you're right.
And his hand looks like to be all lands. So it looks like a plains, a forest, a swamp, and
As you would expect with an active land tax.
yeah. Can't tell what that last land is. It Gemstone Mine or
Let's see.
is
The
it
cards on
Lanor?
the
At the bottom right, what's underneath the plains?
oh
Yeah.
oh that's a rector, isn't it?
Oh, it is a Rector. Okay. I don't.
So yeah, I mean next turn he plays that. Doesn't have appear to have a way to activate.
He does have the therapy in
Or
the yard that was duressed on turn one, I think. So he
oh
could be able to,
yeah. He can do it next turn then.
but he doesn't
Um,
have really anything to go get. Like
right,
he doesn't want to get Oath of Druids. Probably doesn't want to
right.
get Goblin Bombardment yet.
And I think if he plays the guy, he wants to crack it right away, so he doesn't give the oath trigger.
Yeah.
Um,
But Squirrel's
and
Nest doesn't do anything until you find Earthcraft.
yeah,
Maybe you
Earthcraft
find the
doesn't do
Squirrel's Nest.
anything. Yeah, yeah. Maybe you get a squirrel nest and like make squirrels. Well, no, you don't. You don't make
You
squirrels
can't
until
make
you can
squirrels
kill
because
them.
there's an
Yeah,
oath.
because there's an
Yeah.
oath. He needs like a main deck Uktabi orangutan or something. Wait, no,
He's a
no. Sealed cleansing, yeah,
yeah. He
or
has the Steel
whatever the
Cleansing.
green one on
The
the
Steel
sideboard.
Primordium is not legal either. So it's so weird. The cards that you're so used to being legal, like Reclamation Sage and the like, just aren't legal in middle school. So
Right, you have to work with like the old versions, like the
yeah,
shitty ones that are all like
like
they're like one ones or
yeah,
like
Cloud Chaser Eagle.
or they don't have
Yeah.
like the or clause. It's just like one card type. Like
Okay. Yeah. So it looks like he has
wait, if he
played the
plays
Rector.
the Rector and gets he can do Earthcraft Squirrel Nest with the
Well,
Stirring Grove, right?
yes. So he can
Yeah.
search with that. It opens him up to any type of removal
Mm-hmm.
from the other side, which he only has a Seal of Cleansing as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it looks like he did go Rector for Squirrel's Nest, and looks like that's threatening the Sterling Grove on upkeep to get Earthcraft, and so another 2 more turns before he can kill Connor. So next
Right.
turn he would search for Earthcraft, play it, and then at the end of the following turn he can make
Make all the
all the 1/1s.
squirrels.
But the crop rotation might change things here. Is he going to get the Glacial Chasm? It seems like you wouldn't want to do that just yet. Oh no, that's the crop rotation's in his hand. Looks like he Cabal
Yeah.
Therapied. That's what we resolved the Cabal Therapy. didn't hear what he named with that therapy, but looks like he missed. I don't really know
Yeah.
what he could have named there that would have still been in Connor's hand, except for crop rotation. And Lorian probably didn't know about the crop rotation yet, since he didn't have it the last time they played. So
right, and he didn't actually get to cast any of his own discard, right? Before that,
right.
Yeah, so he didn't know the cards.
So yeah, I think the crop rotation's got to be saved here for a Glacial Chasm after the combo, which then he can oath up the Rector and well, he has no way to sacrifice his Rector either. So either he has to get the Glacial Chasm. Like, if he didn't have to get the Glacial Chasm, he'd get the Phyrexian Tower to sack his Rector in the form of the dragon. But he's going to have to get the Glacial Chasm to not die.
Right.
Nomad Stadium isn't going to be enough.
Definitely not. I'm quite sure that the amount of squirrels that are made will be greater than 24 or whatever is. Yeah, 15 plus 4.
So we'll see what he decides to do here. If he's gonna just hold up the crop rotation, or if he has a new way to. So if he has the Rector now, he could just he could cast the Rector, cast the crop rotation for the tower.
The tower.
It looks like he passed the turn, and we got a lot of squirrels incoming.
Plenish. What is that? Oh, Funeral Pyre.
All right. He's attacking with probably 1 trillion squirrels. That's the number I usually make, is 1 trillion. Here comes the crop rotation for Glacial Chasm. And
yeah, there's like no way he gets anything else besides Glacial Chasm. Yeah.
So now he has to hope to hit the Rector, hit a therapy before he hits the Rector. When he
also because you get to sack a land when you play that.
Oh.
Or no. Is it when you play it or when it enters?
I think it's when it enters. So he has to sack 2 lands here.
So okay, so he sacked the 4. So he actually can't cast the Rector next turn unless he has.
Well, he's going to get to oath into the Rector, and he just wants to hit the Cabal Therapy in his yard.
Right.
Before he hits the Rector. So if the Rector is like the top card, he's going to have to draw the therapy or another sacrifice outlet. Otherwise, he's just going to be able to sacrifice. Okay. Maybe the crop rotation is the next level tech for the mirror. How does Glacial Chasm and Form of the Dragon work? Well, I guess you can just let it die after you have the moat in play.
Yeah, because they basically does the same thing, but
yeah.
But
Lorian with 2 unknown cards. He's trying to figure out how he beats a Glacial Chasm or the upcoming Rector for Form of the Dragon. And so we're probably going to get, and with all these squirrels in play, Connor gets to oath basically every turn for another Rector. So he's going to get Form of the Dragon, and then he's probably going to get maybe even just to protect from the squirrels in case something were to happen to his form, and then maybe get the Sterling Grove, or maybe the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, maybe even just 2 Form of the Dragons, like.
Yeah, kill twice as fast.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what's happening.
Lorian's at 16 though, so if he was at 15, that might be the right play.
Yeah.
So it looks like we oath in the Rector. Looks like there's a Cabal Therapy in the yard. Looks like right into that. Is that a reflecting pool? That's not a reflecting pool. That looks like the monastery. Yeah. Flashing back therapy. Gonna exile the Academy Rector. Should be a Form of the Dragon. He's got 2 in his deck, so even if he had 1 in his hand, he's still fine.
Man, I remember when I was a kid and I read The Form of the Dragon, I did not understand why it was good. I didn't get it. Just did not get it. I had no idea.
Okay, looks like he's got a therapy and an enlighten tutor, Lorian does, in his hand. So he can enlighten tutor here for a seal of cleansing. It doesn't beat the glacial chasm. And I don't think there's anything else. Oh, you can go get Goblin Bombardment. That still doesn't beat Glacial Chasm, though.
No, Glacial Chasm stops it all. Stops all the damage, right?
Yeah, but
well, I mean,
if you have the Goblin Bombardment in play,
yeah,
and he's currently at 5, so you can only pay that. You can pay that next turn for 4, but he can't pay it the following turn. So that would force Connor to go get Seal of Cleansing for the Goblin Bombardment. Wow, this is really
insane,
fascinating.
Dude.
It's like playing chess, you know?
Yeah.
It's like every time you got a move that you think is going to do well, there's like an equally good move that your opponent has.
These decks have so many like modules and moving parts. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
These decks are so sweet.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else that's going to be relevant, but I think that final Seal of Cleansing on the Goblin Bombardment. Did we see what he tutored for? Is he still looking? Looks like he's still searching. He's going to get the Bombardment. Resolves. Oh, now he's at 15 though. So maybe, or is he at 10? Did he do the 5, or is Form of Dragons during your upkeep, right?
Yeah, during
damage through your opponent?
The controller's upkeep, it does the damage.
Okay. I feel like it's one of those cards that if they printed it today, it would do that 5 damage at your instep when you immediately play it. They don't let people. They baby the people these days.
They don't want you to spend all that mana and then lose it.
Yeah, they don't want you to go to 5 life with no effect. Yeah. Oh, so he can stack all of his creatures to the Bombardment, stopping him from being able to Oath again. So now.
Oh, nice.
So now, Connor's in a situation where he can't. He has to pay for the Glacial Chasm or he dies on the spot.
Right.
And so now he's got to find an answer to the Goblin Bombardment this turn, or he won't be able to pay the upkeep anymore. So let's see what he draws. He's got 2 land in hand, apparently. I guess if he uses his Stadium, he can go to 9 and be able to
get it one more turn.
One more turn.
But the one more turn is only good if he can find the answer to the Bombardment.
Right. So it's like he passed the turn. Man. The Stadium's actually come up. Spotting the turn.
That's hilarious.
It's probably not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lorian is at 6. Wait, is Lorian, or is that 9?
It's the 9.
Did he take one from the City of Brass earlier when he cast Goblin Bombardment? Because he was at 16 before that.
Yeah, he must have, because he got down to, he was at 5. Or at 15.
So like, I feel like he should be at 5 here, right?
I was looking at the life total phone on.
Yeah, can we find that out? Is there a way to talk to them, Robert? Oh, it's 17. Okay. Because yeah, that 1 point really matters here. Oh, Pernicious Deed.
Nice.
Is that enough? I don't think he has enough mana to activate it to kill either the Earthcraft or the Bombardment. But on the upkeep, with the Glacial Chasm trigger on the stack, you can blow up the Deed. So that'll probably be enough. So I think the Deed is going to be enough to win Connor this game. Because he just has to blow up the Deed for 3.
Yep. He's scooping.
Yep, he's scooping. Wow.
Dude, that was insane.
The last turn, the Stadium for life mattered.
Yeah.
Wow, every single card in these decks mattered that game. Like
if I were either of these guys, I would have made a mistake many, many turns ago and lost right away. Like, that was insane.
Wow. So let's look at the sideboards here. So in Lorien's sideboard, he's got his own Form of the Dragon, Engineered Plague, Coffin Purge, City of Solitude, Sabo's Web, another Seal of Cleansing, some Ray of Revelation, which I think is going to be a key card. He has 2 Seal of Cleansings in his sideboard, and Lorien has 2 Ray and 1 Seal of Cleansing. Null Rod, Pernicious Deed. So I think Lorien doesn't need his Engineer Plague, but Connor will probably bring in the Plague because you can Plague on Squirrel to stop that combo. And what's this last card in the sideboard for Connor? Let me... Oh, I have the text version of this somewhere. That might be easier to read. There is one white card that I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like it's at the tournament last week or 2 weeks ago. So you have Null Chamber or Warmth, one of those two, which neither of those seem strong in the Null Chamber doesn't seem very good in the mirror match, and obviously Warmth doesn't do anything here.
Yeah.
As far as Lorien's probably gonna bring his own Form of the Dragon just to have another way to win.
Right.
Through the opponent's Form of the Dragon, and probably bring in maybe his Deed, definitely the enchantment removal. Yeah, no real way to beat Glacial Chasm though. And that's just like, what a card that it just buys you that turn you need to set everything up.
It's like in Legacy when like lands, I don't even know if they play that anymore in lands, but like it worked, but it just always looked like so like annoying to use. But here in this format, like everybody is forced to use like really annoying like interactions, like just awkward interactions, because we don't have like the modern like really like tuned cards.
Yeah, the cards aren't very straightforward. They're a little clunky. Like they're cheap and they're efficient. It's just they don't quite do anything directly.
Not super powerful typically.
They're always setting up other cards.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we saw there. Every card was setting up the next card in the chain, and the chain changed based on what the opponents were doing. So you had to basically pick your path through those decision trees into such a way that gave you the most options.
Right.
Depending on what they did. And I don't think I could have done it either. So as far as cards to take out, I don't think I don't know how good land tax is here. And maybe some of the discard, like the rest, as good as it is, it's probably going to be better to have cards that can get those problematic cards off the board once they're on there. And drawing a duress late game might not be enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Connor has a couple copies of Miri's Guile, which I don't particularly think that card's playable in this format. Maybe if you have enough Argothian Enchantress effects, I would maybe play one, but I would definitely side those out for something. Oh, looks like my microphone disconnected.
Can you hear me?
We can still hear you.
Okay, great. All right, looks like they're shuffling up, getting ready to play. So you said you've played 2 games of your first match.
Yes.
So I guess you won one of those and lost one of those.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm going to be on the play in game 3, so
Okay.
holding out that it goes well. I still don't.
Do you like your?
Go ahead.
Do you like your deck?
It's pretty cool. It's nowhere near as like advanced, I think, as these, like at least as like developed. But
Yeah.
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah.
And I don't know what actually Brian's deck does yet.
Wow, that's funny to lose a game to something you're still not sure about. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I think it's pretty clear, but I only saw like his deck could have so much more stuff in it. Like I really don't know, or at least I don't know the exact way that he built it, because like I saw like one big like engine card sort of, or like key card, but I think there's definitely room in there for a few others.
Yeah. So you're talking about how developed these decks are, and it really reminds me of the Amulet Titan deck from Modern.
Yeah.
Because that deck had existed for a long time. And it just took so many hours of people making all those decision trees and figuring out exactly what the cards you need in your deck are, and cutting the cards that didn't pull their weight, to where it didn't get any new cards over those 2 or 3 years, and went from being a fringe player to having to get Summer Bloom banned. So
yeah,
I feel like that's kind of what I'm looking at here with these Oath Rector decks. It looks like they've played a lot of games, found a lot of decision trees, and they know what they're doing.
It seems like there's like many different things you can slot into this shell, which I think is interesting, because I mean maybe a best one will be found, like a best like combo or whatever, but I mean maybe it's more of like a rock paper scissors, and it's like if this one particular one is prevalent, then you want to play this other one, and like I don't know. Yeah,
it looks like Lorian had turn 1 Duress and turn 2 Therapy, getting a Sterling Grove and a Seal of Cleansing. So Connor just playing lands and pass. Looks like his hand is Academy Rector, and I think that's a Monk Realist.
Either that or a Null Chamber. No.
Is that the Null Chamber?
It's Ray of Revelation. It was flashback on it.
Oh, okay, it's the Ray of Revelation.
Yeah.
That makes more sense than a Monk Realist. You really want to play that card. So another Therapy takes the Academy Rector, but no third land for Lorian. Or was there? How come Connor didn't play a third land? That's a. I guess that was.
Yeah, so he was on the draw, so.
Yeah, but he played. He only had 1 Black Source, so it was turn 1 Duress, turn 2 Therapy, turn 3 Therapy. Looks like it might have just been a brain fart.
Yeah.
Your opponent doesn't play land. Sometimes you forget.
Right.
Okay, Enlightened Tutor for Sterling Grove. So, gonna play around this Ray of Revelation, or at least force him to burn it at a disadvantage foil. You can search in response. Maybe you just search for another Sterling Grove.
Yeah, and then the Ray is consumed. Let's see.
Must be playing around land tax. Okay, I could see that. I don't think if I was Lord, I wouldn't keep land tax in this matchup, but maybe you don't know how many he has. So if you think he's on more than 1, yeah, I could see that. But now he's played his 4th land now, so he's fully online. He's gonna cast the Ray. I guess is this the upkeep? Looks like it's the upkeep for Lorian. Makes sense to do it now, so that he has to spend the mana on his turn. And then if he doesn't have the 4th land, he can't redeploy the Grove until he finds the land to sacrifice it. So it buys him a turn here. And even if he does have the land, you get to use all of your mana killing these 2 Groves at once, and not costing anything on your turn.
Right.
Yeah, Grove for Grove is fine. It's just eventually, you're just drawing Groves. Your opponent's actually drawing cards. So you're going to kind of... You're not losing card advantage once you get the first one. But you're not
also
gaining
just kind of spinning
advantage.
wheels, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to play it here. We'll see if the flashback happens or if he
Yep.
has the 4th land. So, yeah, he's just going to blow it up. So now Connor's got through 2 Sterling Groves, which grew off the Light and Tutor. So he's looking for anything of his, any of his Sterling Groves, any of his Oath, his Rector, even his own therapies. He's got therapy here, so maybe he's got the Rector therapy happen. I think you got to name Academy Rector here.
What is that?
There's a Coffin Purge, an Earthcraft, and Academy Rector. It looks like he named Earthcraft.
Earthcraft, yeah.
Which I suppose you can maybe assume that there's not a Rector in your opponent's hand if they have been intentionally missing their land drops by putting enchantments on top of their deck.
Right.
But now it looks like he can cast the Rector and immediately flash back to therapy.
And yeah.
See what he's going to get. I'm assuming he's going to get Form of the Dragon. And then we'll see what he names. Probably name... Yeah, there's not a Rector, because you would have played that. Maybe name a Pernicious Deed. I might have played that as well. Maybe just name a Seal of Cleansing, or...
Yeah. Just
see if he
whatever
was sandbagging Seal of Cleansing.
Yeah, whatever beats your dragon. Because I think, I mean, you just want to name what makes you lose the game, ideally.
Yeah. Can't tell what he got. Did he grab an Earthcraft, or that was the one that was discarded? So. How on earth do we have a mirror? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's I saw the deck list and was just like, man. Did we fail to find? What did we get? Did I miss something? Is there an enchantment in play?
I don't see one. There wasn't like a
he put a Scroll's Nest on the swamp.
Yeah, on the land.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know about getting Squirrel's Nest there. I would have just grabbed Form of Dragon and hoped it was enough. Maybe he didn't bring in the form because it's not trying to not trying to protect himself. But I mean, Connor's just one more City of Brass away from casting his Form of the Dragon, so that's something to keep in mind. And he has the Glacial Chasm in his hand, so even finding the Earthcraft here might not be enough. I guess the Coffin Purge. Does Coffin Purge stop Academy Rector? It does. So having that in his hand, it looks like he drew another Rector. Wow. So he can flashback, name Form of the Dragon, go get Earthcraft, and now he's just got to avoid a Pernicious Deed or something to break up his combo.
Well, the Glacial Chasm buys a lot of time.
That's true.
So
maybe not. Is it enough time? Yeah. There's a Duress in hand. Oh, the Duress can take the Coffin Purge and set up a Rector of his own.
Although Coffin Purge has flashback.
Yeah. But right now, Lorian's tapped out, so if Connor draws a Rector, he's good to go for this turn.
Yeah.
Because his Squirrel's Nest land is tapped, he has no way to untap it. It's still 2 more turns. Man, Glacial Chasm, really strong. I don't think there's any enchantments that blow up any lands.
You need like, I mean, like it's like Avalanche Riders or like
Parallax Tide. You could go get a Parallax Tide. I'm trying to think if there's any others like Parallax Tide. Is there any like pseudo Armageddon?
Not that I can think of.
Oh, there was a white enchantment from Scourge that did something weird, but I think it, or maybe it was a sorcery that exiled all the permanents.
Pull up that set. Man, Man,
It
Scourge
it
was
might have
so
just
long ago.
yeah, it might have just been a sorcery that exiled everything and then you kind of put them back in one at a time for each player. So what card am I thinking of here?
Dimensional Breach.
Yeah, that's the card I'm thinking of.
Remove all permanents from the game. As long as any of those cards remain removed from the game, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player returns one of the removed cards he or she owns to play.
Okay, so that's a sorcery. I was thinking, I always got that one confused with there's like also like Day of Dragons that makes all your creatures into dragons, and that was an enchantment. So, and then Form of the Dragon. And Scourge is a sweet set.
It's crazy, man. There's so much like weird, like off-color stuff.
Yeah.
Like
doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, even for the time. Okay, so it looks like we're not making any squirrels yet. We're gonna force them to play the Glacial Chasm here, and then you just don't have to make squirrels ever once he plays the Glacial Chasm until he lets it go.
Right.
So that way you save yourself from an Oath of Druids. All right. Interesting that he didn't use the duress on the Coffin Purge when he had the chance. Yeah. So we're just playing the waiting game here.
Yeah, I mean he's got a lot of time with that Glacial Chasm. I mean it's like 6 turns or something like that. Like assuming he doesn't tap any more pain lands.
Yeah, he does have the stadium to play against.
For more. So it's like
so if he's at 15, he's gonna pay 6, and then
he's at 11
so
now.
Yeah, it's coming 4.
Oh, right. Yeah, 15. Yeah.
So 6 and 8 is 2 more turns. Gotta love this game of chicken here. Connor's just drawn a bunch of nothing though, because he had plenty of time to find anything, and it looks like he's just drawn some lands. And if he hadn't got that Form of the Dragon taken from his hand, he would be able to cast it with the Reflecting Pool.
All right, so he elects
he's not going to do it here. He's not going to gain his 4 life off the stadium. And is Lorien making squirrels? Looks like there's a bunch of squirrels in play. Looks like they're attacking. And I think I think we're going to the next game. Wow, just a big flood. Turns out, even when you're losing card advantage on your tutors for Sterling Groves, if your opponent just draws all land,
then
you come out ahead.
That's pretty good. Yeah, could be worse. Man, I love that Mirror Universe playmat. That thing is so sick.
Yeah. All right, back to the sideboard. I wonder if Lorian is going to keep in the duresses on the draw. If that's one of those things where maybe on the play you can keep your duresses, and on the draw you don't want them. Because I didn't see any duress from Connor, and Lorian definitely had duress, and he only has 2 in his deck. Well, I think
there's 2 in the board.
Yeah, I don't know if you would bring in extra ones.
Yeah.
Maybe on the play. I think on the play with you want to have it, and on the draw it might not be enough because they can turn 1 Enlightened Tutor. Well, Connor only plays the 1 Enlightened Tutor, so maybe that's why he's flooding out and didn't have enough action. He didn't have all the Enlightened Tutors in his deck. He's only on 1 Enlightened Tutor with 4 Sterling Grove.
Right.
And Lorian has full 4 and 4. So maybe just don't know what other cards you take out besides duress as either player. Besides, I mean, Connor could take out those Mirror's Guiles, and so we did see a Coffin Purge from Lorian, so we know he brought in that. He has 2 of those in his board. And he's probably got more of those because Connor is playing the Funeral Pyre, so he can use that instead.
Right.
He does have 1 Coffin Purge, I believe, but Tormod's Crypt. Don't think you want the Crypt. I remember my friend when we were just starting to play Magic, and he had a Academy Rector type deck, but he was playing like Fountain Watch and Ivory Mask, and I think there's one other card. Maybe it was just Sterling Grove, Fountain Watch, Ivory Mask, where it basically gave everything you have Shroud.
Yep.
There's 1 card that you need to give your Fountain Watch Shroud. I don't remember what that was. Maybe it was.
Is it just 2 Sterling Groves?
Well, no, because Fountain Watch is a creature, and there's something some way to give that Shroud. And I don't remember. There was probably just some enchantment from Masks, and he would do that, and then he would play. Oh man, is it Convalescence Care? No, it's like some alternate win con card from Nemesis. And just like you slowly gain a bunch of life, and then it's because it's not Test of Endurance, but it was like a really bad version of that. And anyway, he would get this lock and play of all these enchantments, so everything had Shroud, and then he'd slowly be activating. I think it was Jasmine Seer, just gaining a bunch of life every turn until he got to his alternate win the game combo. Let's see if I find win the game text, and
man, those cards you just read off are all so weird.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think. Maybe he doesn't win the game. See if I can find this card. Anyway, he played a bunch of like mediocre life gain effects, and we went to a very first PTQ, and I had like a really budget version of like a turbo land deck, and he was playing his life gain deck because he was just along for the ride. But this was when Necropotent's Illusions of Grandeur donate was like the big thing.
I see.
And he played like turn 1. He played. It might have even just been Healing Salve. He just gained 3 life in like the first turn, and the opponent was just so mad that he had to like kill him twice, and it just took way too long. Obviously, he still lost. Like the opponent comboed him twice, but he was just so upset that he had to like do all this extra work for winning that match, and that was his claim to fame was winning that, or was making his opponent unhappy.
Yeah.
Did not win.
That's the kind of like salty Magic story that I love. Like, where it's like, I mean, it didn't really come to any consequence, but it's still hilarious. Jasmine Seer.
Yeah. I think there was like one that you can tap a bunch of white mana for. Just for you gain life for each white mana you tap when you tapped it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's like a newer card or not, but yeah, he would just play a life gain deck. And I remember the funny thing was like he had this. We would play casual games, and I was just the blue player at the time.
Right.
I had all the counter spells and whatnot. And so I basically never lost to his white deck because I could beat it. But one time he did. He got all of the combos and all the cards in place so that I couldn't target anything. And I was able to just wash out on white, return everything to his hand, and he just like gave up after that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's like we have a mulligan. Is that Connor mulliganing? Or
Oh, they are starting now. I didn't.
Okay.
I need more practice doing commentary. I don't like watch the number of mulligans that happen, so I have no idea how
it
many
goes
cards
it
they
goes
have,
so
but...
fast, and you're usually
Yeah.
trying to like not talk about the game at the mulligan stage,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you can't see what cards they're mulliganing. You know, if you can see what they're mulliganing, you can talk about, hey, maybe you would keep this hand in this situation, but you know you're up against this, so you mulligan. But when you don't see the hands, you don't gain a lot of information, so you just kind of gotta ignore it. So turn 2, Seal of Cleansing. Just gonna have that out there for insurance.
Seems fine. That's what I think that cycle of cards excels at. It's sort of just like, I mean, you want to burn it? You want to burn a removal spell on this? Because I don't know. Are you sure? But yeah, just kind of waits until it's ready.
Okay, I found the card. Celestial Convergence. So it's a 4-mana enchantment from Prophecy. So already know it's going to be a bad card.
This is hard to read. It's a lot of text.
It comes into play with 7 Omen counters on it. In the beginning of your upkeep, you remove an Omen counter. And then, if there are no Omen counters on it, the player with the highest life total wins the game. So that was his idea. So this was before Test of Endurance existed. I think once Test of Endurance exists, you don't have to play this suspend 7 really bad enchantment. Because then I don't think... Well, okay, if it's a tie, the game is a draw. So it's just going to end the game in 7 turns no matter what.
Yeah.
Either somebody wins or it's a draw. What a card.
Man, add Vampire Hexmage to that. Maybe you're cooking with maybe not gas, but something.
Cooking with turn. I mean, turn 4 you can draw the game, maybe, or more likely you're probably going to just lose the game on the spot.
I mean, what if you're playing like a Soul Sisters style deck or something?
Oh, sure.
I don't know, like black white like clerics.
Your opponent's on Death Shadow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
They're playing like a real like spike like format deck that has a lot of fetch lands and Force of Wills, and you're just like do. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like Lorian's missed a land drop and has discarded to hand size.
Oof.
And in the meantime, there has been a crop rotation. Looks like for Ancient Tomb for a turn 3 Academy Rector.
That's sick, dude. That's probably part of the reason why the crop rotations are there.
Yeah. Tell you what, Ancient Tomb is very, very good.
Yeah.
I played 1 in my last league, and I think going forward I'm going to play a lot more of that card.
Yeah, that card's crazy.
I played like a replenish deck with 1 Ancient Tomb and 1 City of Traders. I was like, I just want to draw those cards every time. Turns out when you copy deck lists from the late 90s that were played by notorious cheaters, you could probably figure out that when they had 1 copy of Ancient Tomb and 1 copy of City of Traders in their deck, they weren't playing honestly. They would just get the one they needed in their opening hand. And after playing the deck as a fair player without cheating, it's like, I just want to draw these cards more. Because when I did draw them, they were great. And you never really want to draw 2. So
right,
it makes perfect sense to play 1 of each if you're going to stack your deck. So.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously those cards are insanely powerful, and maybe I need to just watch more of these leagues. But I haven't seen too many decks that focus heavily on them, or even like Grim Monolith is in this format, and that card's ridiculous too.
Well, there's just not a lot of payouts in those mid-range cost. In the 4 to 6 mana range cards, there's not a lot of payouts. especially ones that take a lot of generic mana.
Right.
So you can play, you can turn to a show and tell or something with Ancient Tomb, and
Yeah.
but there's not a lot of great stuff to put into play.
Right.
So it looks like we're just on the Academy Rector beatdown plan, waiting to draw a sacrifice outlet. Maybe wonder if we should have held the crop rotation for a Phyrexian Tower.
Right.
It's kind of an awkward spot here.
Because I mean, if it looks like your opponent is struggling like he is, then...
or maybe he has the discard or the sacrifice, and he's just waiting till there's a reason to sacrifice it. So looks like a Seal of Cleansing is going to blow up a Seal of Cleansing, and then we're going to play a Sterling.
I mean, maybe he has the tower in his hand, like.
Yeah, he's just gonna. I'm gonna beat down for now, and then if you play an Oath, I can sacrifice. I wonder if they boarded out their Oath of Druids. I don't think Connor would board out Oath of Druids because he's got the Funeral Pyres. But maybe Lorian will board out Oath of Druids since he has no way to turn them on. So I could see maybe boarding out the Oath and keeping in all the duress and bringing in the extra duress even. So I hadn't considered that. Yeah, the Sterling Grove got the Seal of Cleansings off, as I think Connor had to use his in response. Or maybe, I guess Lorian used it before he played the Grove, so the Grove wouldn't get blown up. But as he's still stuck on land, he's not going to be using it anytime soon, and the Ray of Revelation makes that moot point. Connor's down to 11 from his City of Brass and his Ancient Tomb, and he's...
There we go.
There's the Cabal Therapy. His other land, his only pain-free land is a Gemstone Mine with 1 counter on it, so that's going to probably go away eventually. So he's casting the Cabal Therapy, probably going to name, I'd assume, Earthcraft or Squirrel's Nest here, since that's what he named the first time. Then we'll probably see him attack for 1. You need to get that attack and get him down to 15, and then probably just go find...
Would be just Form of the Dragon, like
if there's no Seal of Cleansing or Ray of Revelation.
Yeah, it depends on what's in the hand, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 Enlightened Tutors, so he can eat those. But there's
so he can.
Sterling Grove also goes and gets 1 though, slowly.
Yeah, but he's stuck on land here. So you attack, flashback on Enlightened Tutor.
Yeah.
He plays the Sterling Grove. You get him to 10. He sacrifices the Sterling Grove in his upkeep. So he has like a 1-turn window to draw a land. Or I still think you only get him to 5 before he can just play it anyway. So unless you have another discard spell. If you had a second discard spell that you wanted to wait on turn on, you can maybe do that.
Yeah.
Gonna flashback the Therapy. See what he gets here. I think it's got to be Form of the Dragon, especially if you have 2 in your deck. You can always try and get the second one later.
Yeah.
Is either deck playing Necro? Yes, one deck has 1 Necropotence in the main deck. I believe Connor has the 1 Necropotence, which at this point, having taken so much damage from his lands, not going to be the card he gets.
Yeah. It's Connor with the...
Yeah, and I don't know if he would have left it in. I guess you probably leave it in. There's no reason not to have such a powerful card in your deck, especially because it does a good job of stopping you from drawing. Sometimes you might deck yourself with the Oaths.
And you can just like sit.
Or keep, make sure you don't draw the enchantments that you need to Rector for. All right, so Lorian has drawn his card. If it's a land, it's a pretty easy play Sterling Grove and use that to find Seal Cleansing. Though he may be in trouble. Oh no, he's only used 1 Seal Cleansing, so he should have 1 more in his deck. If it's not a land, probably still has to cast the Grove because I don't know what else he could have that would help him here. Feature another Enlightened Tutor. Okay, here comes Sterling Grove. Yeah, Necro and Form of the Dragon is a combo. That's true. You reset to 5 every turn, so...
Oh, man, so you can just keep drawing more cards.
Yeah, so Connor breathes fire. Lorian goes down to 9. And we have
Ray.
flashback to Ray. That's
Probably.
we had that. We already had that. In
that
the
was
yard,
already there.
So that should probably lock the game up.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless he draws.
He just drew 2 lands. That's fucking.
He draws Seal of Cleansing this turn,
Mm-hmm.
which he only has 1 of, so it's a 1 out. But
he has Ray in his sideboard as well, I think.
Yeah, that's true. He does have 2 Rays. So
yeah, so there's like a couple things, but
he's casting the Duress, which will show him
Necro.
We got the Necro. Got a Coffin Purge. Got an Engineer Plague and a Crop Rotation. Wow, that Crop Rotation.
That's a hot hand.
Really, yeah. I don't really think it matters what you take here. You probably take the Crop Rotation. Because if there's any chance of you winning the game, you're going to have to blow up the form. And Crop Rotation, his mana isn't the best right now. And so with him at 5, if you force him to play a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Goblin Bombardment's the card that he drew the last turn. He's cast it going down to 7, which his life totals in non-increments of 5 don't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
No real way to get 5 creatures in play here, though. Yeah. And you can't tap his City of Brass anymore. So 2 life. You tap 1, but it's not going to be enough. I think Connor's going to win this match with the power of Form of the Dragon and really the power of Glacial Chasm. That stole game 1.
Yeah,
from
that
what
was
it looked like.
Pretty intense. The crop rotation package seems good.
Mm-hmm.
It's legit.
Yeah.
At least from this match.
Yeah, it definitely seems really strong in this type of mirror. And
Mm-hmm.
one, also having the Form of the Dragons in the main and not just being on a combo.
And I mean,
Craft Scroll's Nest.
You're playing Oath, so you can easily have Threshold. So you have access to all these like fun Threshold lands.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the power is not the same as it is in Vintage or Legacy. But
all right, looks like Connor wins. 2-1. Well, I've never seen that deck in action, and I think seeing a mirror match, you get to see all of the lines. I'm sure there's some lines in some other matchups that we didn't get to cover, but I feel like I'm almost an expert now. You know,
definitely.
I got to learn all the tricks. Chat was helping out with some stuff, so I think I could probably pick up the deck and not do too terrible. Though if I picked it up before this, I think I would have been awful. So
I think I'm definitely gonna steal one of these 2 deck lists for the next league, or something like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're gonna get set up for our next round. And
Yep.
if you want a quick break, I may grab another beer.
Yeah, let's take a break.
We'll be back in like 5-10 minutes with the next match.
welcome back to the Romancing the Stones stream for the middle school Schools Out Forever Summer League. We are here for round 2 of our feature matches tonight. This is Hayden Baggett versus, I don't have the names.
Tim Barron.
Tim.
Yes. Yeah, this is like a different match than we just saw. There's going to be some blue cards in this match. Both players playing some islands. Tim is on a blue-black Pychatog deck with 4 Duress, 4 Hymn to Turok, and 4 Recoil. He also has 3 Shadow Mage Infiltrators and 3 copies of Annul in his main deck.
Wow, I mean, we just saw a lot of enchantments get played, so
he's
I don't know.
Ready.
I think that's a reasonable card, like weirdly.
I think that's a thing where somebody looked at the metagame and said, "I'm putting the Annul's main deck."
Yeah.
Hayden is playing the list that he took to the finals of the second league, his blue-white Stifle Knot deck.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, 4 Dreadnought, 4 Stifle, 4 Vision Charm, 4 Days, 4 Force of Will, 4 Meddling Mage, 4 Enlightened Tutor, and then a couple of Mother of Runes, Mana Leaks, and some Impulses to round it out. It's a pretty straightforward deck, but he gets to play the Meddling Mage's main, and that really lets you have a second dimension to your deck.
For sure. Yeah, that card's great.
A lot of decks are going to struggle to beat a Mother of Runes plus a Meddling Mage.
I like how this is one, like, whatever that the tournament series was, like World's Winner versus another World's Winner card, like Shadow Mage versus Meddling Mage.
The Invitational Winner cards.
We
got John Finkel and Chris Bakula here.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. I think a lot of those cards are pretty good in these formats. Definitely Meddling Mage is great. Shadow Mage, maybe not the best, but I think it can be fine if you're willing to play it. It might be better than Pychatog, actually, given how much hate there is for blue cards. You know, Pyroblast on your Pychatog doesn't feel great, but if you get one hit in with your Infiltrator, you're at least happy about it. So
yeah, for sure.
Meddling Mage, obviously great. I think Void Mage Prodigy has a home. I've had Wizards on my decks to play list. Haven't quite got down that far yet, but one of these future leagues, I'll show up with Wizards with 4 Void Mage Prodigy.
Nice.
And also, you know, Rootwater Thief, Mike Long. I think that card's maybe the only good card in the Merfolk deck. And Avalanche Riders obviously can do a lot of damage with Survival and Recurring Nightmare.
Yeah, definitely.
Without the Green Sun Zenith and other ways to tutor for Sylvan Safekeeper, I don't know how good it is, but it's still a very strong effect.
Right. That's nice little, if you're playing. I mean, maybe Oath would do it. I don't know. That seems kind of weird, but definitely really Survival. Definitely Survival.
Your Survival can play it because you can find it. And all right, looks like we have a turn 2 Duress from Tim. Maybe he knows what's up and decides to play around Days. A lot of times it's just better to wait a turn on your Duress if you're not doing anything immediately. It may signal to Hayden that he does not have a counterspell, though. So Hayden's going to decide if he wants to let this Duress resolve. Or if he wants to, I guess he could play Enlightened Tutor.
That, but he could have a null.
He could have an null. Man, a null against the Phyrexian Dreadnought. That's going to be.
That's so sick, dude.
Yeah. Okay, well, Hayden chose the hand of like 2 Dazes, a Stifle, an Impulse, and a Vision Charm, and a Flooded Strand. So has what he needs once he finds the Phyrexian Dreadnought. So. And he has the two days to protect even through an annul. So we might see if he fires.
What you take here? Do you take the?
I'm surprised he didn't cast the Impulse here, looking for the Dreadnought, because you can't take the Dreadnought with Duress.
Yeah.
And your Stifles are protected, like you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tim makes the right call here. Takes the Impulse. Now Hayden doesn't really have anything to do.
Right. So. Maybe he forgot it's in an instant.
I don't know about that. It seems like I would not put that card in my deck if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. If he ran this listed for, he has to know.
Yeah. All right. Land go. Back to Tim. See if he's had one of his 3 mana creatures. So he's got 4 Pychatog and 3 Shadow Mage Infiltrators. Probably doesn't really want to get those dazed. tapping out here. So probably going to see draw go a lot for a while. There's really not a lot of proactive stuff that Tim can do at instant speed. Like recoil doesn't really do a whole lot. He has 2-factor fiction. That's going to be his big test card. Yeah, strange list with not a lot of card drawing. No gush, only 2-factor fiction. So really not trying to turbo kill with Pychatog. Mainly trying to, I guess, get a lot of value with your hymns and your recoils, and then just lock up the game. But we'll see. We'll see how good it is here. This is definitely got to be one of his better matchups, since there's not any creatures beating him down, as he has no creature removal in his main deck besides recoil. So if he's not going to win this matchup with the main deck of nulls, it may need to rethink what deck choice you have.
Yeah. Man, that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it just looks like. I guess I'm not a good brewer or deck evaluator, but I just don't know what powers a Pychatog unless you're just like planning on just countering and discarding a lot of stuff before you kill. Like, because like I remember the Carlos Ramau Worlds version was like an upheaval build,
right?
But that was for standard, obviously.
Yeah, I've looked at a lot of old Pychatog lists from old extended around this time, and a lot of them play like accumulate knowledge, gush, cutting wish, like a lot of these cards that they're kind of durable cards, but they make Pychatog a lot scarier, a lot faster. And especially when you have a card that you can play Cunning Wish for Mystical Tutor to find your one upheaval in your main deck. And that was always a line that I was really interested in. But it's just so you're just relying so much on drawing a lot of lands and having spells and your opponent not doing much, which seems to be working out here. Hayden's drawn a bunch of lands to go with the cards that we already knew about. I think he has 1 unknown or maybe 2. Can't tell. Here comes the Shadow Mage Infiltrator with 2 mana up, so probably just gonna let that resolve, I would think. You could try and double daze it. You can just pay, and that doesn't do anything because now you don't have protection of his Force of Wills. Force of Will is such an interesting card for these 2 decks, because normally I've played some pre-modern where the Stifle Knot deck doesn't have to worry about Force of Will, so it can be a lot more aggressive. It can leverage its dazes a lot better. All right, here comes Shadow Mage Infiltrator. John Finkel getting in. I think if this card hits more than once, I would get a favor Tim in this game. Advantage bar way to his side if he can get in a couple of hits. Hayden doesn't have any source of Plowshares in his main deck, so no real way to stop this guy other than blocking with Phyrexian Dreadnought. So, because it has fear, and Chris Pakula can chant all he wants. He can't block.
You can't even Mother of Runes your way around it.
Right. Now it looks like we found a Hymn to Turak, which I don't think Hayden was expecting this, and this is going to be pretty rough. He probably didn't need to have all these lands in his hand, or lands in play. He probably could have saved some in his hand if he knew about him.
I'm actually already liking this Pychatog list more and more as I watch it like operate.
Yeah, I do think that Shadow Mage Infiltrator is a very strong card.
It might just be a Shadow Mage Infiltrator.
You might be better off just playing Infiltrator Forbid or something. Instead of Ophidian or Thieving Magpie, just play the Infiltrator, play the Forbids, and maybe play a Pychatog or 2 if you want to have it. Because creature removal isn't very commonly played. It's a lot of relegated to sideboards. And if you have enough to discard and counter spells, you can actually protect your Infiltrator in a way that is sustainable. Trying to protect your Pychatog while at the same time, discarding your hand and exiling your graveyard is a lot harder. But when you're constantly replacing the counter spells by drawing more cards, I think a second draw here. The Hymn looks like it hit a Stifle and a can't see the card underneath the Stifle, but probably another card that maybe that's the Vision Charm. Second John Finkel for Tim here. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking here, like, after this game, I would play 4 Shadow Mage Infiltrators. He's only playing 3, but yeah, if the first one finds the second one, you just keep training them. They're blue cards, so you can always exile them to Force the Will.
Yep. They're almost impossible to block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what creatures can block it. Like any black creature can block it.
Yeah.
But how many black creatures do people play? And Tuco Shade.
And how many black creatures do people play are going to be blocking? Like,
yeah. Withered Wretch. Yeah, Withered Wretch
maybe.
Can block. Spearmonger.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I hated that card in that Jund Beast deck. It was so bad.
Yeah, Spearmonger not very good.
Not good. Yeah.
I don't know if you've been listening to the there's the Resleevables podcast that Star City Games puts out with Patrick Sullivan and Cedric Phillips. And they've been going through a bunch of old sets and basically breaking them down, talk about, what was going on in Magic at the time, talk about all different cycles. And they just did Apocalypse this week. So if you want to get in there, they have a bunch of different awards for the set. So they'll have like the Oko Thief of Crowns award for the best creature. But they have one that's like the I forget what the Aurelia's Fury award for most overhyped card.
Right.
So the card that everyone thought was going to be great and really wasn't. And they did Apocalypse, and it was clearly Spiritmonger. I remember when Spiritmonger came out, people thought it was going to be amazing, and card just doesn't do anything.
I mean,
it's definitely playable.
Wasn't it still like it was still like used? Like there was a home for it, and like at least in like Type 2, like it probably was
Type
like
2. It was a lot worse actually.
Yeah.
Because
really?
In Type 2, they had Counterspell and Repulse and Exclude. And
those Exclude! Cards, I love that card.
Those cards were less common in Extended. So in Extended, you could go, get your Yavimaya Elders in play, get a bunch of lands in play a Duress or a Therapy to clear the way, and then you can get a Spiritmonger. And so it was a little bit more reasonable with Spiritmonger or in Extended, especially when you had Deed. And so Deed and Deranged Hermit didn't quite work well together, but Deed and Spiritmonger, those are some friends.
Yeah.
So looks like somehow a Shadow Mage Infiltrator got countered. I must have missed that. Still, Hayden's. It was forced. Okay, so that basically another hint to Turok. Hayden's in a tight spot here. Now, can't see the life totals. Maybe we can get Hayden to move his life total down, but I can't imagine he's too low yet. He's probably still around 15.
It's either 10 or 20, right? Because I see a 0.
Oh, I only see a 1. I thought that's a 1 there on the.
I'm watching the OBS.
Oh, you got the OBS.
It might be cropped from Rob's.
Okay, so
Rob's
the number on the right, you think is a 1? Because I can see like.
Yeah, so the numbers that are red set up for Hayden are 14 right now.
Okay,
and
so he's probably
the other
14.
one I can see a 9 for
It's probably 19.
For Tim. Yeah. I feel like if he never tapped that city, then because he just played the city, I think.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think Hayden. Yeah, even though he's really far behind, he's still a long way off from dying. So Tim's just trying to draw extra cards, make land drops, and probably find a Pychatog here. Pychatog will clean up once Shadow Mage Infiltrator's done the real damage.
I like the simplicity of the game plan. It's cool.
Yeah, and it's nice when you get a matchup like this where you just get to execute your plan. It's like I'm going to draw an extra card every turn, and you got to try and get through my pile of counter magic before I find a way to win. And because there's no playing to the board from Hayden. He's not trying to develop an army. He's not trying to even control what Tim's doing. So he's just trying to find his combo. And the thing is that even if he finds his combo, and he wins the fight over it, he might be low enough by that point that a Pychatog will be lethal on the backswing. So he might not even be able to attack. Really tough position here for Hayden. Another hint to Turok. Wow. Yeah, just all the card advantage. I think if you're going to do some actual card advantage math, Tim's got to be up like, I don't know, 8 cards by this point. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just tapping out. We probably have at least 2 Force of Wills in our hand. Tapping out for the Shadow Mage. start doing 2 a turn. I discarded the hand size. Is that what that was? He discarded a circular logic to hand size. That's got to make you worried. Which, wild.
Sending a message.
The Tim stuck on only 5 land after drawing all of these cards. And
yeah,
if Hayden had actually used his wasteland that he lost to his him, might be tough. But
yeah,
I think now we're way too far behind. Hayden's way too far behind to win this. Oh, he's gonna Enlighten Tutor.
I mean, he must still have like the Stifle or the Vision Charm from the beginning, right? I can't.
I saw Stifle get discarded at some point. But I mean, he could have found a second one at this point. We haven't seen another duress from Tim since that first turn or that second turn. I mean, really, only 2 targets for his deck is to either get the Dreadnought or get the Seal of Cleansing. I don't think he wants the Seal of Cleansing.
Yeah, probably not.
All right, and draw 2. Has he found a land yet? There it is. 6th land. These are all these cards. He is only playing 22 land in the Pychatog deck, which might be not quite as much. He has 4 Portent though, so actually, wow! Now that Hayden cast this Enlightened Tutor, if Tim's got the Portent, he can cast it on Hayden, make him shuffle.
Oh, sick! See if he does it.
No, he's discarding the hand size. Looks like he discarded a Force of Will and a Polluted Delta. Okay, just really still had all these.
Just like obscure interactions that.
All right, here's the Dreadnought.
The fight. This is gonna be a fight.
Is he gonna annul it? He's probably gonna have the annul, right? He's probably just like, yes, I have main deck annul.
Counterspell.
Okay. You know, if you're going to discard a Force of Will in a land, you might have just should have Force of Will the Enlightened Tutor. I know it's not normally the play to force those tutors, but if you're going to discard them anyway,
right?
Maybe it's fine to just save the life. All right, so Hayden's down to 9.
A peak, it looks like.
Oh, that is a peak. Yes, there are 4 peaks in the deck, which go very strong with the Medley Maze. So we're going to see. Oh, no, he's not even going to show him. He says, you don't get to draw that card. You don't get to see my hand. I'm not going to show you my annuls.
Because he like literally wants to like do that because he gets to draw so many cards.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's fine.
You can just discard a card to keep your opponent from drawing a card.
Mm.
And here's probably a Pychatog. There it is.
Probably does it.
7 life. More than enough cards just from the graveyard. And Hayden needs to play a blocker. And he's going to play a peek.
Is he going to counter it?
Want some info. Let me see what's really going on over there. No, we're going to counter it pitching recoil. So he knows about recoil now. Going to make him go through the motions.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He really only needs to exile
11, 12, 13, 14.
He really needs to exile like
+7 from the graveyard, and then discard a couple from his hand. Yeah.
Only needs to exile about 8 cards, and that's going to be it. All right, so sideboard time. So
this gives Hayden some more options with removal.
Yeah.
Tormod's Crypt, maybe. I don't know, maybe. Or like Winter Orb seems. Maybe
Winter Orb seems very strong, but doesn't seem like the strongest. You know, all the cards that his opponent has cost 1 or 2, other than the creatures. So, and the recoils. So he's got 2 Tormod's Crypts, 2 Chills. Those won't come in. 3 Source of Plowshares will definitely come in. 2 Winter Orbs probably come in. Mother of Runes. I don't know if he wants that. He might not know how much creature removal is in the Tim deck. So he might bring that in, but Tim doesn't have anything that Mother of Runes is going to stop, even after sideboard. It's just we'll get to that in a second, but he just has he has no real
it
removal.
Blocks the Pychatog, right?
It does block. It's a blocker. He has a Gainsay and a Powder Keg. Maybe Powder Keg's
okay. I was thinking you can maybe put Powder Keg
on 3 to stop either creature.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim has 4 Hydroblast, 4 Tormod's Crypt, 2 Engineer Plague, 2 Perish, 2 Null Rod, and the spicy one of Disrupt. I think he's probably just going to bring in the Disrupt. I can't think that he wants to bring in Engineer Plague or Null Rod. If he wanted to try and stop the Tormod's Crypts, he could play Null Rod or stop the Powder Keg. I'm not sure. Yeah. As far as cards to take out, well, if Tim's only bringing in 1 card, the Disrupt, probably just take out a Recoil.
Yeah, that seems fine.
You probably want all your discard. Circular Logic's still fine. As to Factor Fiction is still fine. Shadow Mage Infiltrators were great. Yeah, I would just cut 1 Recoil for a Disrupt. And as Hayden, I would probably cut the Seal Cleansing and maybe the Mother of Runes. If you knew what the decks were, you'd cut Seal Cleansing and the 2 Mother Runes for 3 Swords of Plowshares. And and then 3 more cards for Gainsay and Winter Orb. Which I guess those would be, maybe you can cut your Dazes.
Yeah, that's always an option.
It seems like Tim was taking the line to play around Daze, even from his turn 2 duress instead of turn 1. I don't know if that was intentional or just the way the cards lined up, where he didn't have it turn 1 and played it turn 2. So if you think your opponent's always going to play around the Daze, you can just side him out for better.
And then you kind of get the benefit for free.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know if wanting to cut any other cards. I guess Meddling Mage can be very strong. If we Meddling Mage the Shadow Mage Infiltrator or the Pychatog,
or both.
Yeah, and Tim doesn't have a good way to deal with that. All he has is Recoil, which can maybe buy him a 1-turn window to resolve one of those creatures. But maybe Meddling Mage on turn 2 can do a lot of beats and put Tim on the back foot. And that's kind of the and if that's the game plan, then maybe you do want all the Mother of Runes. I'm not sure. Looks like they're almost ready. I have to say, I really like looking at all the deck pictures that people send in. Everyone picks such good basic lands to use.
Definitely.
And that's what I like about this format in general, is like the basic lands are just really strong. You can't go wrong with any of the old frame basic lands from the
I think
sets.
just like old frame cards are just that, I don't know, like I don't think anything compares. Some of like I don't know, they're doing so much crazy stuff lately. Like I haven't really been able to follow it like closely. I just like don't have room in my brain for it, but I don't know, some of it's cool.
Yeah, some of that Secret Lair stuff, it looks nice, but it doesn't look like Magic cards. And these still look like Magic cards, and that's what I like. And some of the lands aren't the best. I've never been a huge fan of the like the Tempest lands, but like they have so much nostalgia now that yeah. I've been getting some really obscure white borderlands for my decks. So here's a picture of the island, and it may look like a normal 4th edition or revised island, but if you look closely, it's definitely not. It's from the Beatdown set, and it so it has the full mana symbol instead of the text that says tap to add, and it has a Beatdown symbol, and it's got like the card frame. It looks a lot like a 5th edition basic land as far as the coloring on the the frame,
Right.
and the centered text at the bottom. Yeah, so I've been using that because it's like when I use Fetchlands, I always try and use Whiteboarder just to make it easier to find.
Right. Yeah, it's a solid reason. Yeah, like I don't know, like I haven't really ever been one to like pimp out a deck or anything like that. I'm not really into foils.
No.
And I haven't actually. I mean, since these tournaments, these leagues are 100% proxy allowed. I've just been proxying lists because I just kind of want to play. But I also sort of wish that I had like some of the real cards. But like I think this format, like the prices of these cards are still just going up and up and up. And I'm like, man, I should have been buying this like 5 years ago when they were all really cheap.
Yeah, I've been buying a lot of these cards in the past couple of years just to finish up play sets of old sets, and like I feel like I got lucky on a lot of them. But still, it's like there's like subset of cards that just keep going up, and each time that I don't buy them, and they double in price again, it's like, well, am I ever gonna play Allurin? I don't know.
Right.
I have one now or something, and can't play it with just one. You have to proxy it if I ever want to play it, or spend a bunch of money on that. Card I'm still trying to pick up. I still need like 2 more Grim Monoliths, and just like
those are ridiculous now.
Every time I try and buy them, it's like the people I have like, oh, they want too much, or they already sold them, and then it's like, well, I'll get them next time, and then next time I try and buy them, it's another $100.
Right.
So looks like Hayden's mulliganing here. He's on the play, so he has the chance to really put the pressure on with an explosive start, and unless Tim has a turn 1 duress, he could be. If he doesn't have the duress and Hayden has a turn 2 Dreadnought, it could be a quick game.
Yeah.
We saw that last time I was hosting the stream. We saw a blue-black Stifle Knot against a mono-red Sly deck, and the blue-black player just had turn 2 Dreadnought both games.
That'll do it. Yeah, not a ton that the opponent can...
Yeah, looks like Hayden mulliganed to 5, and that's generally not what you want to see, especially if your opponent is playing the card Hymn to Turok. So
right.
If Tim has like a oh, he's got the duress too. Wow, if he has duress into him, it's going to be really tough. So looks like he mulliganed to 4.
Whoa.
Okay, well he's going to have to. He has turn 2 Meddling Mage. We'll see what he names. Maybe we can get a spotter. Any spotters around? No spotters on the webcam games. We'll just have to see if they write it out, or
we should somehow
Robert
make
know.
table cameras.
Yeah.
Just for the stream. That'd be
all right. Fetch the planes. You might just name Force of Will. If you're trying to get lucky here.
Yeah.
Even though that stops your own Force of Wills, but I could also see just naming Shadow Mage Infiltrator, or Pychatog, one of those two, because that's going to stop you from attacking either one. And that's what's so nice about having both in your deck, is the Meddling Mage doesn't completely shut you out.
Yeah.
I learned that last league. I was playing Replenish, and I had no real way to win. Couldn't cast my enchantments if they wasn't replenished into play, and so I would just lose to one piece of graveyard hate, like single Tormod's Crypt. It's like, well, I have no backup plan, so it's nice to have backup plans.
For sure. I just turned on Hayden's stream. I can hear what he says.
Okay.
It is Shadow Mage Infiltrator is the name.
All right, that's a good call. I think if you knew the list, you might name Pychatog just because there's one more. But you don't know the list, and you got beat down by 3 Shadow Mages in the first game.
I would definitely have Shadow Mage in my head, not Pychatog.
Yeah. All right. It's like Tim's just going to play a land and pass. Hayden draws and attacks for 2. 17. So there's a reasonable clock. And given that Tim's deck doesn't have removal, really, I think, it's a real clock. It's not just a I'm going to wait it out.
Right.
So he's going to play a Portent, target himself. can't see what he sees, but probably looking for a Pychatog or maybe some way to deal with the meddling mage, like the recoil, or maybe just more counter magic or him to Turok.
Yeah, he really doesn't have a way to like get rid of it.
Yeah, he does not have 2 blacks, so maybe he's looking for some black mana to cast him to Turok. And the City of Brass is his only source. He's playing 4 City of Brass in this deck. A little bit ambitious, I think, but it's definitely a metagame call. He's looking to not play against a lot of creature decks, and just gonna take all the damage from his own lands and play this heavy disruption deck. And yep,
right. I mean, maybe you like accept that, like you just like take the damage. Yeah, if you're not playing against like really hyper aggro decks, then your wall of disruption might be fine to deal with the 4 cities and I assume some pain lands, right? Like
he's got the 4 pain lands, 4 cities,
and then some fetches.
one reflecting pool, and the 4 polluted delta. He even has 2. He has a Flooded Strand and a Let's Say Mire, just as like free fetches. Which with Pychatog in your deck, the value of just putting cards in your graveyard goes up. So
definitely.
So Pychatog makes it so Hayden can't attack, but I don't think Tim is able to attack yet either. He's definitely going to be losing this race. So until he finds a second creature, we're probably just going to be staring at each other. Well, he's gonna get in there, and Hayden can't block really. Unless he's got Swords to Plowshares, he's trying to get some value from. But Hayden only has 2 cards in his hand, and he didn't have the counter for the Pychatog, so I doubt he has a counter to protect his sword. So, but Tim does have, looks like, another Pychatog.
Right, another Pychatog.
And that's going to be tough for Hayden to beat without drawing a Swords to Plowshares.
Or maybe a quick Dreadnought.
Yeah, Dreadnought this turn or the next turn, the next couple turns is probably going to be enough. But he's down so many cards.
And I mean, he could just get annulled.
Yeah. All right, he just said draw go.
Portent.
Yeah, if he had Mom, he could use it to block, but
right.
It's still like you're obligated to keep, because he could just start attacking with 2 Pychatogs, and that's an even race. So and you have to attack with your Mom and your meddling mage, and I think you're probably going to lose that race. So
right.
I don't know if Mom's enough. Another meddling mage might be okay. Well, no, because you still just never want to block. You just have to get the Dreadnought.
I mean, I think this could turn on a dime if he pulls a Swords to Plowshares. Like, yes. I think that's like very strong, assuming it resolves, of course. But
yes, yeah, if he can find his swords, but now it's getting to the point where the one Pychatog left might be too scary to. It might be enough to race. So
especially if there's a big fight over the swords.
Mm-hmm. And if there's any type of follow up, looks like we have the Hymn to Turok here.
There we go.
Probably going to just be the game here. I can't imagine being able to assemble the Dreadnought after you get himmed on this turn. He only has 3 cards in hand, so he's debating, do I force a will it and take 1, or do I just let this resolve and hope I keep the force of will in my hand and draw a blue card?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe he does have the Swords of Plowshares.
Tutor.
Oh, Tutor.
Interesting.
Okay, so I mean, there's only, like we said, unless he's got Powder Keg to get, or Winter Orb, which I don't think it's going to be Winter Orb. Doesn't really do a lot on this board, but Powder Keg is interesting. I don't know if it's fast enough.
Right.
Takes 3 more turns, but if he's only taking 1 a turn, that's probably enough time. He's just going to get the Dreadnought. We'll see if the him ends up resolving, which I imagine it will. Imagine he decided to let it resolve when he cast the Enlightened Tutor.
Right.
Once again, he's set up to get portented. I don't know if that's going to
Oh, he
happen.
had another card.
Oh, okay. So he has 3. So maybe he has a stifle here.
Well, if he does, it's the last card.
Enlightened Tutor and Mana Leak were the discards. So we'll see if Tim has a counter spell to back up this. Oh, he's attacking with both now. So he thinks he's winning this race. Hayden's at 17. I can't tell what Tim's at, but it's probably around 15 or 14.
It looks like, I think it's a 5, so it's 15.
Okay.
Or 4. No, it's a 4. It's 14. So I think he's at 14.
Yeah, I do think this is the time to race. You're definitely going to win this race 2 for 2 with Pychatogs in play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He draws, and does he pass? Oh, no. I lost his camera. Do you see it?
So yeah, he passed. He attacked the middle image and he passed.
Looks like you're the only one that can see it. Yeah, it came back. Okay.
So yeah, he's upkeeped and drawn. Tim has.
So now that we know that there's a Dreadnought in hand, and it's not a stifle, because he would have just gone for it there.
He was done it.
If you have a duress, I don't think you want to play it, but I do think if you had a recoil, might recoil here, or just gonna have
another him.
Another him. Yep.
So
there's
it was a Force of Will.
It was Force of Will. Okay. And yep, come in for 2. Now we're gonna have to start doing the math every turn. So right now it looks like there is 6 cards in the yard and probably 4 or 5 cards in hand for Tim.
Yeah, I would guess.
So that's 4 plus 5, 9. He's got 9 damage there. So really just 2 more turns and he can win. So if he attacks him down to 11, and then I think he has the win after that. The power of Hinda Turok against the Mulligan to 4. Or maybe it's just the power of the Mulligan to 4. Hayden just down way too many cards. He was down so many cards in the first game from Shadow Mage. Oh, is this Factor Fiction? This game might be over right now.
I think that probably sets it up with enough cards.
What they say. In a turn, Factor Fiction, you lose. He picks the 3 pile. And I forget the math. Factor Fiction was always plus 5.5?
Mm-hmm.
I think, guaranteed.
Sounds about right.
So it puts 3 in the yard and 3 in hand?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that? That's 3 plus another 3? That's just plus 6 every time. Well, it's plus 5.5 net because you had the 1 in your hand.
Right.
He's taking the 3-card pile, so probably means he's done the math. I don't know if it's quite enough with the blocker.
Right.
Looks like he split. So he split it. Shadow Mage and Force of Will versus Pychatog.
Swamp and
Swamp.
City of Brass.
It's a white border.
And then some blue
City
card,
Brass.
which I couldn't quite see.
Yeah.
Let's look at that again. I think it was a portent or an annul, maybe.
Well.
But I don't know. Like I think if I'm Hayden at this point, I am very certain that I am probably going to lose.
Yes. So here comes the attack. Now we gotta double check the map again. So we had 6 in the yard before that. Now there is 9 in the yard. And it's like 3 in hand. He probably has the block. Did he signal a block there? And
Discard,
here he starts
discard,
going.
discard.
Discard an ult, discard counterspell,
4,
discard
5,
disrupt.
6,
He's
and then 7, 8.
shares. Which, I mean, I know he only has 1 card in hand, but we could have held the counterspell.
13, so it's Xaxes. Hayden has
Oh,
something.
he has 1 card. He has 1 card left. Okay.
Stifle one of the activations.
Stifle
Counterspell.
one of the counterspell.
There we go.
All right.
Pychatog making a name.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Teeth, easy work there. I think that's basically the best matchup. That's basically the type of matchup Tim was looking to get. He showed up with a very disruptive anti-combo Pychatog deck.
Yep.
Doesn't have any removal for creatures. Didn't matter.
Our meta last round was very combo heavy, wasn't it?
Well, there's a lot of combos, but there are a lot of creature-based survival combos.
Yeah.
He does have parries, which can really break those decks up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Shadow Mages is a great call, and and sometimes Pychatog blocks enough if they don't have their own removal that you don't need to worry about.
I mean, Pychatog's just hard to deal with as long as you're still in the game, because you probably have at least some cards to mess around with his size.
Yeah, but really the MVP was probably him to Turok in both those games. Really impressive.
Seemed to be the anvil that the hammer was struck upon.
It's one of those cards that's legal in middle school and not in pre-modern.
Right.
Really defines the game. It's where if you think you can play it, you should put those black mana in your deck. Play the extra swamps. Play the extra black sources. Play for him, and you're going to get some free wins.
Certainly true, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for tonight. We'll be back next week with round 2 coverage. Maybe you'll see Mike or I playing one of the feature matches. You gonna finish your match after this, Mike?
I'll check with Brian, and hopefully I finish it tonight, just so I can get it out of the way. And if I win, maybe we'll see. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope to see y'all back again. Check us out at stonesmtg.com, I believe is our website.
Yes.
You can check this Twitch channel as well. We might have a Twitter. I'm not sure about that, but gotta plug all the socials.
Is it all in the channel description? Just check out the channel description.
It's probably in that thing, what's it called down below? Whatever the description, something like that. Thanks for having me, and those are some pretty dope matches, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll have a good night.